Tonight you're going to hear stories of all different types. I have no idea what they are. Some will make you cry, hopefully. Some will make you laugh, hopefully. And some will make you go, what the fuck? Hopefully. That's right, George. We have surviving stories, funny stories. I have no idea, but they always have something like that. I'll just start off. This is difficult. It was our daughter's 3rd birthday a long time ago. I went out to work, driving my taxi as I usually do. I went out working night shift. And I went out and I came home sometime in the early hours of the morning, probably go for a pee, maybe a quick cup of tea. I walked into the house, the children were in their bed, fast asleep. My wife wasn't in her bed. She wasn't in the house. There was nobody there. Her 15-year-old sister was in the bed. And I says, where is she? She went, oh, I don't know. And this is way back. This is before mobile phones, before Find Friends and your Apple phones. This is ages ago. I had no idea where she was, leaving her 2 children at home, 2 preschool children. The eldest, as I said, 3, my daughter's 3rd birthday. I phoned up a friend, wasn't there. I phoned up someone else, wasn't there. No answer. I phoned up her mum and dad, they had no idea. She's at home. I said, no, she's not. Okay, and I'm getting concerned. You know, your mind's going, obviously. I couldn't find her. I jumped in the taxi, drove about, went out to the first friend's house. We had a long chat, couldn't decide where she could be, with a very small circle of friends, because nobody likes me. So and anyway, I went down to this other friend's house to see if he was home, knocked on the door, and he opened the door really sheepishly. And he said, you better come in. So I went in and up the stairs, and there she was, just sitting there. Obviously, a blind man with a guide dog, what had happened, what had been going on. I didn't lose my temper. And I just said, right, come home, we'll discuss this. And she says, no, I'm not coming. I went, well, you have to come home. We've got kids. She went, no, I'm not coming. Now go away. And that was it, go away. And as you can understand, my world just crumbled and shattered, and I had no idea what to do. I was 23, 24 years old. I drove back home, first of all, to our mum and dad to let them know what happened. And they came back up the road with me to pick up the youngest sister-in-law, who got inveigled in this, and she got bollocking for getting inveigled. It's not by me. When I got home, my ex-wife had been home before me, and she had taken all the money we had, and we used to smoke at the time, all the cigarettes we had. I don't know which is more important, but at that point I was left with 2 children, one who was due to start nursery school that same day, and one who was 16 months old. With no money, I had no idea what I was going to do. No idea at all. So eventually, the following morning, one of our social services got involved, and they said, right, okay, we'll find a home, we'll get your kids away from you. And I went, well, you fuck. She says, no, these are my kids, and they're staying with me. And that shocked her, because this was 1970 something or other, and people didn't do that back then. Some did, but not many. And society wasn't geared for that. At that point, I joined the band of single parents. And in 1978, it wasn't geared for men. It was female single parents. They said it was fine, but it was easier for them because they had the services that could help them. They got the finance. I had to go down and sign on every single week. I worked now and again. But that 6 years, really, once I got used to all that, was one of the happiest, fun times I had in my life. It was a great time. problems not ensuing, you know, with social and unemployment. Well, once I got £17 to do me and my 2 children for 2 weeks. And when I complained and said, well, what am I going to do with the kids? And they says, that's not our problem. You deal with it. I got by. And then one evening, I was down at a friend's house at tea time. And we were sitting in there. And my kids were both at school by this time, primary school. And I was just sitting on the floor. It was a house full of people. And my kids, as they were, clambering all over me and pulling daddy's hair and all these kind of things like that. And then the doorbell rang and opened up, and in walked this wonderful red-haired lady with a wonderful red-haired dog. And it was one of these things, genuinely, when our eyes met across the floor. That was it. She was in and she was out. I met her a little time later on in the park. We said hello and chat. And then it was about April. I was still unemployed, and I was working as part of only 2 officials with the Aberdeen Grampian Unemployment Union. The other was me, and I was somebody called Rod Slater, now Rennie Slater, you probably know him, and we were the Unemployment Union. We were fighting for the rights of the unemployed to get free buses. We got them free use of facilities like tennis and bowls and the kind of things that unemployed people love doing during the summer. Not. And we were getting a petition up to get free bus fares for the unemployed. We was getting this huge petition. And one day I was standing outside the unemployment office getting signatures for the petition. And who would walk by but this red-haired lady? I got her to sign the petition, said thank you, and went home. By an edge now, because I knew where she stayed. I had her name and address on the thing. So I did my stint. I had to go back home, get my kids from school, and at that point, I had the 2 kids, and I also watched another child after school, a little girl called Iola. And when they came home, I said, right, don't take your coats off, we're going out. And we walked down, but coincidentally, the lady stayed not too far from where I lived, which was wonderfully coincidental. And I walked out to her house with 3 children in tow, knocked on the door. She came to the door looking quite surprised, and I asked her if she wanted to go out for a drink that evening. I said, me and my kids, but not this one, she's not like. And she said yes. And we went out to the downstairs in the Sada bar, had a couple of drinks, and she came home with me. We put the kids to bed, and 37 years later, 6 grandchildren, and 6 great-grandchildren later, she's still here, and she's still the love of my life. That's true. Thank you. Okay, next up, we're going to have, excuse me if I switch this off.